Don't worry, Adam, not another one, but is to become an entrepreneur. Next, we have Allison Chan. She is a 9th grader from Sacramento. She is one of our most active Drive Club members in the Youth on Course Committee, which we'll also touch on because Drive Club is an incredible program we have. She has introduced dozens of kids to golf over the past 2 years while competing at a high level herself. She also created a fundraiser called Allison's Putts for Patients and was recognized by the Sacramento Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for her efforts. And her favorite subjects in school are math and art, and her dream job is to become a professional golfer or an engineer in the golf industry. And lastly, we have Ethan Sipple. He is our Youth on Course alum. He grew up in the Monterey Peninsula and spent some of his high school years in Florida. He joined Youth on Course when he was 12 years old and attributes a lot of his personal development to the time he spent interacting with people from all walks of life on the course, as he says. After moving back to California in 2020, he studied at MPC and started pursuing a career in golf. He is currently the executive assistant at Urban Golf Performance, which supports professional players like Colin Morikawa and Lilia Vu, and golfers of any level with their performance and fitness, which I'll have him talk a little bit more about his role with UGP because I think it's a pretty awesome story he has, being a Youth on Course member and then being, I guess you could say, an average golfer and still working in the golf industry. So also bear with me, be a little patient. We do only have one mic, so there's going to be a lot of passing back and forth. But I said a little bit before, I just kind of want to ask you guys what sports you play and how you got into each sport. I know we listed all of your sports you play, so maybe touch on one or two, but tell us just a little bit how you guys got into sports, specifically golf, and we'll start with that. So Chris, take it away.
Hello, good morning. I started playing lots of sports growing up, as Isabel mentioned. Mostly I played soccer, basketball, baseball, and golf. And I did swimming. My mom forced me to, I did not like it. So it came down to basketball, baseball, flag football, and golf. And golf made me want to come back every single day. Basketball, I played a day, I'm like, okay, I can take a break from this. And same with other sports, but golf is the one thing that I wanted to continuously play every day. So 3 years ago, it came down to basketball, baseball, and golf. Basketball was too tiring. Baseball messed with my golf swing. So golf is the one I chose, and it's the one I'm glad I chose. That's the one I'm going to be pursuing, hopefully.
Hi everyone, good morning. So I got involved with golf because I remember I think I was 6 years old. I went to a friend's birthday party and it was like golf themed. And I remember telling my parents like, oh, like this sport looks really cool. And so they put me into first tee, and then eventually I found out about Youth on Course through first tee. And so like golf has always been a part of my life for like as long as I can remember. And then basketball. I grew up in San Jose, Bay Area, so saw the Warriors and like that uprising, and then I have 2 older brothers. So just seeing them play that, and then just seeing like the Warriors, like always been a fan. And yeah, basketball has always been a part of my life, just like golf. The thing about golf though is that like basketball season is just the winter, so golf has always been year round for me. So I've always been able to keep up with it a lot more. And then for the last 2 years, since my sophomore year of high school, I was team manager for my track and field team. And I just did it so that it would keep me busy. But I've always loved sports, and just seeing that in a sport that I'm not as familiar with, it's super fun. It's super fun to me, and then getting to like manage the team and be able to hang out with my friends while not doing as much physical activity. Yeah, I love it. So.
Hi everyone. I got into golf because my amazing father here, while I was growing up, he played golf. I started playing golf because I wanted to have fun with him on the golf course. I thought it was an amazing sport to play. And I would always go on the golf course with them, and I eventually started playing tournaments, taking lessons, and I was like, this is the best sport ever. So over the last couple of years, I've really loved playing golf because it's opened a ton of new doors. I've met amazing people like everyone up here, and it's taken me to amazing places. I probably wouldn't be at the high school I'm at now, but yeah.
For me with golf, it started at a young age, probably around age 10. I got into the game because of my dad, and I was playing a few other sports such as like basketball, as all the boys play, soccer, baseball, kind of like what Chris said, and it just kind of eventually kind of became my bond with my father, and I really just gravitated towards it, and it was something I was better at than my buddies, and they weren't involved in that sport, so I kind of had my own thing. And I really loved it. I pursued it all throughout high school, and I kind of had a background where I played at just a lot of clubs and took lessons with coaches and built relationships with pretty much guys in the guys' industry, right? So I had to kind of learn how to hold my own out there. I didn't have someone holding my hand, and it was definitely a treat to kind of get into the game that way, and not so much like worry about how I do in tournaments and where I wanted to do it if I was going to do collegiate. More just like I love the industry in itself, and always have. That's how I got my golf.
Thank you. So this is, I guess, kind of a double question. We'll say, again, I just want them to kind of understand why you guys chose golf and what makes you happy playing golf. So what brings you the most joy when you are playing? And I'm kind of curious, what do you leave behind when you go to the course? I know a lot of us say golf is an escape, right? Or some of us say golf is a job, but I think this sport in particular, since you're out there on the course so long, I think it's a place where we can create relationships, we can learn more about each other, and I think that's so unique in a sport that you're out there for so long. And yeah, I kind of just want to hear from each of you.
Yeah, so golf is one of the only few sports where it's individual. You have to, it's on you. You win or lose on yourself. You have fun by yourself. It doesn't have to be like that, but. And with Youth on Course, it gives the kids opportunities to go to the course more often, to have more fun, to play with other kids, to meet new people, even adults, and talk with them, engage and see their background. You never know what opportunities you'll come through by meeting new people like that. Leaving behind, you also have to sacrifice. If you're trying to pursue competitive golf, you sacrifice playing with friends, sleepovers. Also means you have to do a lot of homework. You have to work more at school, and it's a big sacrifice, and for some people their childhood, but I think it's worth it with the way you're gonna go.
Wait, can you quickly repeat that first part?
Yeah, so what joy do you find from golf?
Just getting to go out there, really. I mean, like I said, I've talked about how I do basketball. Basketball is like in a gym, like you're inside the whole time. With golf, I just love getting to be outside, like especially during like those early summer mornings. I think that's just like the best feeling in the world. And I remember like I did the caddy program for Youth on Course like 2 years ago, and I remember getting to like the local country club at 7 in the morning. And it was cold and it was foggy, but like the feeling of the heat just like beaming on you, like it was. I just love that feeling, and I just love getting to go out there early and then having the rest of the day to do whatever you want. But just like being active either way. So yeah, and when I go to the golf course, especially now since I'm a senior and I'm doing my college apps and I'm busy with school, like during golf season, that was my escape from all that. That was just kind of the place where I got to forget all about it and forget all about my other worries and just focus on the one thing I really like and I'm really passionate about. And
Something that I do find like joy in golf is it is like a little escape from reality. Like if I have a test the next day, I can forget about it and just focus on golf, hitting those crisp shots and like listening to music. But to me, it is like a full-time job. You're practicing, like for me, every day. You're grinding on the courts for like 2-3 hours, but I think in the end, it's all worth it because in tournaments, you feel that sense of like accomplishment that you've worked hard for, like playing good, shooting under par, close to even. And I think in the end, it's all worth it because you put the work in and you did it all on your own almost.
For me, I'd say the joy that golf gives me is a lot to do with the people, kind of that I've met along the way, to buddies my age, to adult friends of my dad's that I've built lifelong bonds with. It was never so much tournament style for me that was like make me want to get up and go play golf. It was more of just like, hey, I want to have an experience with people today, and then that also taught me, especially in my high school years. When I was in Florida, I would just get up at the golf course, or go to the golf course, and I would get paired up with random people, pretty much all the time because I was just new to the area and I wanted to kind of put my foot in the door in a lot of places and just kind of build my own little thing, my own little group every morning, and it taught me a lot on how to kind of branch outward and not be so individualized in my golf game and worry about what I have going on. It taught me, hey, everyone's got a lot going on, not so much just in golf, but in their lives. And that's kind of what brings me a lot of joy when I go out there, and what I try to leave the game with every time I go out is help the courses, leave a positive energy with the guys in the barn, in the pro shop, and take care of the course, yeah. And definitely leave a good impact on the people I'm playing with. Never want to be the guy that's draining energy out there on the course. So that's
I like that. Never be the guy that's draining energy. Yeah, don't be that guy. A lot of you talked about the relationship you have with people, and I think you touched on that a lot. And I think, what you two said, going out to the course, listening to music, hanging out with your friends, just enjoying your time out there. I think that's such an important aspect to golf and in life. And I think golf has become a lot more popular. I think we can all agree in the past 4 or 5 years. I think a lot of that was due to COVID. You couldn't really do anything else. I mean, it's the one sport where you don't have to be around other people. And I think social media also attributes that to a lot. So I would like to ask Allison, you're very active on social media, so do you want to tell us and she's a very active Drive Club member, so she takes people out on the course, gets to talk to them, gets to learn more about every single person that she introduces to the game. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey, I guess, with social media, how you kind of started, and what you do every time you post, I guess?
Hi again. I first started on social media when I was just starting my golf journey, so we kind of started together. But it first started out with me and my dad posting trick shots together, and it brought me joy to do it, and I knew that it brought other people joy, like people who watched it. My goal with that was to brighten people's day, even if it was just a couple seconds. But as I got deeper into the golf journey, I started posting about tournaments and stuff to show my progress, my golf journey, and how much I love the game of golf. I've shared the bad, the good, to show both sides that golf isn't an easy sport. It's actually hard. You have to show the pros and cons. But I think social media plays a big role in golf because you're showing people that golf is a fun sport. And sorry, I'm going blank right now. It also shows the different sides of golf, and I think it also helps spread the game, with Drive Club. It helps shows you introduce people to the game, and it gets youth on course out there in the world. So I think social media has a big positive impact.
Yeah, I think like she said, especially when Ethan and I were younger, youth on course wasn't as big, and I think now that we have such an active social media presence and that's due to our awesome marketing team. Thank you all that are here. I think it's so cool that we can share stories of our members, and you get to learn more about the members rather than them just being, oh, I'm a Youth on Course member. You get to hear their story, and I think that's awesome, and I think it's really cool that we have the opportunity to kind of ask you guys, what your stories are. Krish, I want you to talk a little bit about For Vets. I know you guys have an event coming up on Monday, so do you want to tell everybody kind of how that got started and what you guys do for that?
Hello. So For Vets is a program my dad and I started last year. It's an opportunity for veterans to bond with juniors and for juniors to bond with veterans and just play a fun 9-hole scramble tournament together for kids to learn about the veteran, where they came from, their experiences, and for the veterans to learn what kids are like these days, because I know some veterans struggle with like social skills and all of that. So it's just the event for people to bond, to share experiences. My dad and I started it last year because we noticed a program called PGA Hope where they take out veterans to play golf. Simple. But we noticed that some veterans get lonely. They don't have people to play with. They don't talk that much. So For Vets is just a place where veterans can share experiences. They can be social with others, with other veterans, with other kids. And yeah.
It was really cool hearing about this because again, with PJ Hope, I think that's such an awesome organization, but you kind of took it into your own hands, and I commend you for that. I think it's very awesome that you get to be something a part of that. I guess next, I want you to talk about Leadership Council, and you both have touched on what you do to contribute to the game, and I think Leadership Council is a great little program that we have going on, and I've got to meet you through that and work with you. And I don't know if a lot of these people know what it is, so if you want to go explain kind of what your role is and what we do in the council.
Yeah, so through Youth on Course, we have a leadership council, and I'm a co-chair on it. I was at first the content committee chair, and then this past year I got I guess promoted. It was a vote, but yeah. So now I'm the co-chair, and then basically what the leadership council is that it's like a bunch of Youth on Course members. Now we want Drive Club members also, but originally it's Youth on Course members from all throughout the country, and we come together like every month, and we have these meetings where basically we're trying to give like feedback to Youth on Course, and we're also trying to expand its awareness to other like youth golfers throughout the country, and also other Youth on Course members to try to get them to join our little council. And yeah, I mean, like I said, we're now expanding it to Drive Club members, so it's going to become a little bit like more harder to get in, I guess, because you have to be part of both. But it's going to be great because all the members on our council are just great at leadership. They show like commitment, and they're really amazing people. And yeah.
I've had the pleasure of working with these kids, and I can tell you they're some of the most dedicated Youth on Course members we have, and it's been so exciting to see kind of what you guys have come up with and what we're working on right now, and we're in our application process, so it'll be cool to meet some new kids and get them into the council as well. Earlier I touched on kind of how Ethan and I are a little older, obviously, and how Youth on Course and I guess golf has changed so much since we were younger. I guess we were talking about it yesterday, and golf wasn't that cool when I was younger, at least. And golf is awesome. I think we can all agree. I think obviously you guys are all here and work in the industry, and I think it's such a cool sport, and it's gotten so much more popular and so much more traction in the past 4 or 5 years, like I was saying earlier. So kind of wanted to ask you, what changes have you seen with golf because of social media, because of your friends? You were saying, your friends didn't play it, all of your friends didn't play it when you were younger, but now all your friends want to play. So tell us a little bit about how it's changed over the past years.
So over the past few years, since COVID especially, my friends went from so anti-golf and not really understanding of why to get into something like that. But then after COVID, the competitive itch of all these guys started to just seep in, and they're like, hey, how do I get into this? And like, hey, how do I do this? And like, how do we get out to this course? And like, it's way more complicated than you think in so many ways. And I just had to make it clear to them, like, hey, like, I'm down to play with you, but I gotta teach you etiquette, and this is like how I learned, and like this is the way we kind of go about things out here. So I had a lot of guys that used to give me a hard time in grade school about ever playing golf, and now I'm the one that takes them out and has to show them the ropes. So it's kind of that, and then also for me, it was not cool. Golf is now so mainstream. There's so many different apparel lines that kind of want to change the feel and the look of golf, as well as just kind of companies that are kind of new age and want to get you into different types of training and not so much just be by the country club textbook. So it's definitely a new space, and it's I'm super thankful to kind of been seeing it from both sides. Growing up, it was still very old school, and no hoodies on the golf course at certain places, and you couldn't do much. And now it's like kind of got its own style, and everyone kind of knows how to be respectful of the game still and hold the integrity, because that's super important. We can't lose that in golf, but definitely still have kind of a fun twist and not make it as uptight as it can be. But I think that's kind of what I feel about that.
Thank you. I guess this is a question for all of you. How do you think playing golf impacts the rest of your life? You guys have all talked about other things that you do to contribute to the game of golf, but when it comes to juggling golf, when it comes to juggling academics, when it comes to juggling friendships and social, your relationships with other people, how have you changed, I guess, since you started playing golf? And yeah, how do you guys kind of manage each of those?
So for me, after playing golf, it changes a lot of stuff, not only personal life, but a lot in school. You have to put a lot of focus during school, getting your work done, even if you can't homework done during school, so you can go right after and go play. It kind of, for me, especially now, it's getting dark outside, you can't play as much. But in 2018 is when I started really, really playing golf every single day. And I remember the first time I hit a 100-yard drive, and that was like getting a hole-in-one for me at the time. And I'd get so excited, and then I'd come the next day, I hit 120 yards. And there's like, even that feeling of one shot, it makes you want to come back. And meeting new people, like I mentioned earlier, I've met adults that I met 2 years ago who I still talk and play with to this day. I played with a guy that I met 2 years ago, an Irish guy from Ireland who taught me about a sport called hurling, which I never heard of, and gave me a kit to try playing it out. And I saw him the other day. It was cool seeing him for a long time. He remembered me. And just even meeting people that you don't talk to that much, but just creating bonds with people, especially adults, and getting to hear their experiences, where they came from, is really special.
Yeah, I guess golf has taught me a lot about like discipline and time management. Time management on the course, and obviously outside. Like, during golf season, I know I have to get my work done before I have a golf match, or else I'm gonna go home and then I'm just gonna be tired, and I'm gonna have so much work to do. So yeah, and discipline, like, if I want to get good at something, I just have to keep working on it. I can't just expect myself to be good at it immediately. And I think that's something I struggle with, because I'm like really competitive. And growing up with two older brothers, that's like made me even more competitive. But like, I remember I would get so frustrated when I was younger playing golf when I wouldn't hit like a good shot. But now it's just like taught me to be more disciplined, to be like emotionally more stronger, and I think that's carried on onto my own life, and just like, yeah, just being more resilient overall.
I think golf has impacted like my personal life. It, like I said earlier, it's like a full-time job, you know, and a lot of effort goes into it. So it's definitely made like school a little bit harder, you know, catching up on work, missing tests. Um, Definitely not being able to hang out with your friends, saying, "Oh yeah, I have a golf tournament, I have golf practice." So it's definitely hard, like on that end. But golf's definitely taught me a lot of core values too. It's even though like I can't hang out with my friends, I've definitely met a ton of people through golf too. I know there's like a guy at the driving range I always see. We're like really good friends, and it's always fun to hang out with him on the driving range. And I think golf's still like really fun though, and you're still socializing, which is like a fun part for me because I'm big on socializing. But yeah, it's taught me a lot of core values like discipline. It's helped like the emotional part of golf too. Like it's taught me that I need to keep my emotions in check and like not let it all out. And it's just taught me a lot of stuff.
I would like to talk about how it's taught these three responsibility at a very young age. I've now seen it now that I'm 22, I'm working in a corporate job. I see them already doing these steps way more than I was at their age. And it's because of the sense of responsibility that golf gives you at a young age to take care of your own things and make sure it's not, be patient and kind of have a lot of emotional intelligence as well. So kudos to them on that. For me, definitely with my experience in golf and what has taught me is a lot of resilience and mainly patience from being like a young teenage boy getting into the game and it not always going your way and realizing that's how golf is for all of us. And it definitely teaches you how to be around adults, how to call up a golf course and ask for a time. It's really hard when you're 13 years old. It's really hard to like pick up that phone and be like, okay, I gotta plan my day. And it's not up to your parents to figure it out for you. It's up for you, and that's what Youth on Course really I feel like taught me is like how to be responsible even when I'm not an adult yet. And I definitely am super grateful for the experience and the rounds I got to have at all these great courses around here in Monterey, thanks to Youth on Course, and definitely super thankful.
Ethan brings up a great point. You know, when we were younger, we kind of had to do it for ourselves and create that relationship with the courses. And I think all of you can relate to that. You know, once you have met people at the golf course, whether it's on the driving range and you see them all the time, or if it's someone in the pro shop, or if it's a head pro that you see all the time because you're out there. I think it's such a unique relationship that you can create with that person. And it's awesome to hear that you guys have met people in different ways. And what Ethan said, I think it's a little easier for you guys now, which is awesome. And with Youth on Course, you can book times through the app. You can call ahead, and I think we've made it more accessible, which, that's all we want to do. We want to make golf more accessible. I think that's what everybody wants to do again, because golf is awesome and everybody should play it, right? I'm going to pass this back to Ethan. I want you to talk a little bit more about UGP and how you got started and kind of what that's like as a normal golfer, in the world and working for a golf company.
So how I got into the golf industry was because of Youth on Course. I worked at Carmel Valley Ranch for 3 years, and that's where I did most of my playing Youth on Course rounds. And I built such a relationship with the guys in the shop and the instructors out there and the cart guys that when I came back after high school, moving to Florida for 3 years, I didn't see these guys for 3 to 4 years. And I walk in, I'm like, hey, what are the odds I can work here? Like, where do I drop off an app? Like, what do I do? And they're like, you're hired, just like do the interview with HR. Like, you're good, dude. And I was like, okay, sweet. So then it taught me how to act in the golf industry, how to be at service. And I went from just kind of being like a cart guy to being in the shop and running junior programs. So it was a big kind of like, I found my spot and I love where I was going on my path. It's actually where I now met our founder and CEO of Urban Golf Performance, Mac Todd. He was a member there for a short bit, and I built a relationship with him, and I would help him with the location that we had down here in Carmel, and kind of learn how to be with him. And he's like, "What's your plan, dude? Like, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I feel like I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do in golf. I might do a PGM, or I might, finish out school right now and then try to, play some tournaments and get into it." And he was like, "Nah, like come work admin work with me and get away from the counter and kind of get into a new role." And at that point, I've never even written like a professional email. And he was like, "Let's go for it." Just from the relationship that I built with him. And he was like, "You're a good kid, and I believe in you." And it took a lot of patience on both sides for me to try to learn and get up to speed with these guys. And Urban Golf, so we're a company in SoCal that we have 4 locations, 1 in Austin and 3 in Los Angeles area. And we're now a team of 70 people. We do golf training, coaching, and recovery work. So you come in and you can kind of have a whole team of people working on your golf game and where you want to improve and where you're maybe lacking physically in your life and even maybe emotionally in your golf game. And that's definitely like kind of what we want to focus on. And luckily our product has been so good. We've gotten to work with a lot of touring professionals now with Colin Morikawa for the last 4 years. Bo Hostler, who's an investor with us, as well as we are on with him on week to week as well. We're with Colin every week of his season, which is pretty cool. We have one of our guys, one of our trainers who does recovery and training work with him. Through all those events that you see on TV, we're behind the scenes. So we have that side of things, our tour team, and then we have our clientele that comes in and wants to improve golf. And we're just trying to spread this company as far as we can and always trying to make everyone follow the values. And we don't want we get a lot of golfers that come in really strong-minded. And they're like, "This is how my golf game is, and I can't swing a certain way." And what we try to do is trying to change your mentality and get your body right, so then you can finally produce like how you would as an athlete when you did back in the day when you used to play golf. So it's a really cool company in that way, and it's something I gravitated towards when the opportunity got put in front of me. And when I look back, I really think back on Youth on Course, because there's no way I would have been able to handle conversations with this guy working at Carmel Valley Ranch if I didn't have to do all those years of experience with having to deal with shop guys and rude people on the phone sometimes. It really taught me like, hey, you gotta stick it through and give your best smile. And I'm really thankful for what that taught me from a very early age, younger than these guys. So.
Yeah, I wanted you all to hear Ethan's story because I think it's pretty special that he, started with us from such a young age, and then he kind of took the you didn't play golf in college, but you still play golf and you work for a great company. And I think being an alumni, yes, we get to hear from you guys a lot because you're Youth on Course members. With the launch of the alumni program in the past couple of years, I think it's been so special to learn more about the kids that were Youth on Course members younger, and some of them don't play golf, some of them do play golf, I'm still playing golf, and I know a lot of my friends that I played with golf when I was younger, they are still playing golf, and there's a lot of them that aren't, and they're doing other sports. And we had another alumni that played football, so it's a wide range, and I think that's why golf is just so incredible. And I just wanted you guys to hear kind of his story, because I think it's special that we have this opportunity to hear from both members and alumni. Passing it back to you two, since you did play other sports, I wanted to see if there was anything in particular that I guess you would ask, or what advice you could give to coaches and people in the sport world playing 2 sports, kind of how they can make, I guess, sports more enjoyable or more accessible. And I know a lot of these people in this room, some are coaches. I've met a few coaches in the room right now, and a lot of them are leaders in the golf industry. But coming from different sports and playing different sports growing up, what advice would you give to coaches and leaders in the sport world?
Yeah, so I played, like I said, I played a lot of sports growing up, but when it finally came down to the last two, it was baseball and golf. And that doesn't really sound like a good combination with the swings, right? So for me, I played travel baseball and competitive golf at the same time, which is really difficult to do. But as a coach, my coach was luckily really nice because I know some, especially travel ball coaches, the crazy coaches can be sometimes, right? They want you to show up every day. They don't want you to play any other sports. Some high school coaches don't want you to play club sports, or some club coaches don't want you to play high school sports. They just want you to focus on their one team. So I was fortunate to have really accessible coaches that I can talk to who let me play golf during the baseball season, which is fortunate. But as a coach, I think it's really important to let the kid kind of journey on their own way, and they might not always choose your sport if they're playing multiple sports. Because I know some coach, like I said, they just want to play for their club and they just want to focus on them. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, during golf season for me, it's always my main focus is just golf. I don't really worry about basketball. But then basketball season happens, and I would completely cut off golf for like 4 months, which wasn't nice coming back to it in the spring and being like, whoa, my swing is all messed up. But yeah, the thing about like basketball season was that because I had to like cut off golf, it wasn't because of my like coaches specifically, but it was because I really didn't have any time to do golf. I feel like for me, basketball, like I had school and then I would have to wait like 4 hours for the other like two like JV and freshman teams to have their practice, and then at like 6 p.m. I would finally have practice, and then I would get out until 8, and basically, I wouldn't have any time to play golf at all. So I mean, I guess just being more understanding. I'll always love basketball, but golf has always been more important to me, and I feel like with my coaches, they knew golf was always my sport, but they weren't as understanding of it. They were like always wanting me to be more focused on basketball, which makes sense, but also just like it didn't allow me to expand my horizons and like really like do what I love, what I'm passionate about. So yeah, I mean, I guess I wish my basketball coaches were more understanding, more like would have allowed me to just play more golf as I was playing basketball.
So you bring up a great point. You want the coaches to kind of understand. I think that's a big thing. I think everybody in this room, again, the whole point of this session is to kind of ask what you want. We'll go down the line again, starting with Ethan, but how can we, as adults, and you as an adult, kind of in hindsight, how do you think we can make sure that your voices are more heard? Again, you guys are kind of doing a great job right now, and I think this session has been super helpful, hopefully, to all of you guys, and I'll open it up for questions soon if you guys have some, but I think, that's the most important thing, and I know it's kind of tough to answer, and it's hard to give something concrete to it, but how can we hear you guys more? Like, what can we do so that your voices are heard? If you think about that, I'll start with you.
For me, when I think about making the youth on course members heard, I think about accessibility and relationships with administrators like y'all, and as well as your guys in the shop and your guys in the barn. It's definitely something where I feel like I had a lot of room in that time when I was with Youth on Course, and there's a lot more available. More and more now, it's kind of more difficult, which is kind of tougher on the kids. And I understand COVID blew up, courses are busier than ever, but there's definitely some ways. My boss's son, who's 10, is a Youth on Course member. And there's some times where it is a cold, windy day and the tee sheet is empty. And I'm like, okay, we should go out to either PG or Spanish Bay and we should let him go play. And I'm not gonna play. I'm just gonna let him go walk and play 8 or 9 holes. And we go out there and they're like, no, we don't have any times today for Youth on Course. And I'm like, how is that possible? Like, you don't have anyone on the tee sheet. You just told me you don't have anyone for the next 2 hours. And like, is there any way that we could do this? And they're like, no. And it's like, kind of seeing how they don't want to engage with that relationship as much as they used to, just because of how things have kind of been situated post-COVID. And everything's kind of gotten a little bit more locked up, and I'd love to see the relationship between the junior golfers, the members, build with the guys in the shop like it did for me. It's the reason I'm still working in golf today. There's no way around it. I'm gravitated to this sport and to this way of kind of like life just because of pretty much people like you. And I really want that for my boss's son and all these kids as well, to kind of feel that sense of community in their own areas, wherever they live and whenever they travel. It's like a very connected organization. When you go somewhere and you're like, yeah, I have youth on course, and then you could have a 5-minute conversation at the counter with the guy as you're checking in about where you play usually with your youth on course, and I've got to play these courses in this area, and he's talking about what courses he's played when he's come to Monterey. So there's a lot of ways to always keep talking about spreading awareness for this. Kids really don't like to abuse it in any way. It's a really great source, and I really hope you guys allow the kids to use it. That's great.
I think kind of building on to what Ethan was saying, like communication with the community is kind of key. Like talking and working stuff out if like things aren't going right. But I think also holding like these conferences is also a great way to have our voices be heard, because you're hearing from us our feedback, our like kind of story about youth on course. So I think this is a great idea to hear from us.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just kind of seeing us and treating us as equals. I mean, these two are ninth graders. I'm sure 3 years from now, when they're my age, they're gonna be way more outspoken than I am. But yeah, I think a big part of it is like not seeing us for like the age we are, but like seeing us for like as golfers, seeing us as like people who also play golf with you. And I think there's so much feedback, that we can give as young golfers about how the sport is changing, and how like it's becoming more accessible to people that are younger through social media and yeah, through other like sources. So I think just seeing us as equals.
Exactly what they said. Building on to what Ethan said as well. I remember around COVID time, 2020, going into a pro shop and saying, "Oh, can I go out?" Like, yeah, that'll be what, $15, $20. I said, "I have youth on course." I said, "What's youth on course?" And explaining to them what youth on course, what Drive Club is. And now going up to a pro shop, he's like, "Oh yeah, you're good, buddy. You can go out." And then like building relationship with especially guys that work on courses, like Ethan said. Like I didn't like just going to get your tee time, to check in for your tee time. It's like, "Oh yeah, I like your jacket." It's like, "Oh yeah, I played college baseball for that team." And just having conversations with guys like that. And then now, like, I started playing at Diablo Creek Golf Course. This is my home course. And I've been going there very often for the past 6-7 years. And now, like, every time I see one of the workers, it's like my own family almost. So that's really cool.
It's great to hear that you've kind of established those relationships with new courses and whichever ones you choose to go to in the future. Like I said earlier, I do want this to be kind of an open discussion. I know we're wrapping up, but I want to make sure that you guys leave this conference and you walk away not only with something from this session, but all the other sessions you choose to go to. I want to make sure you have your questions answered. And like I said, this is a pretty unique opportunity, and I don't know how often you all get to ask young people. So I kind of want to. Yes.
I'm curious to hear what golf content is your favorite content, whether it's social media, YouTube, championships to watch. What's your favorite content to engage with?
For me, I love the YouTube golfers, Garrett Clark, Good, Grant Horvat, all those big guys. The Youth on Course Instagram is amazing. To see all those funny clips they post, and so I like that. I love watching for example, just the PGA events on on Golf Channel and Major?
For me, definitely TikTok. I'm not, I'm not the type of person that really like sits down and then watches a tournament. I think for me that's just boring. I prefer to play or just watch it in person. But yeah, a lot of the content that I see is definitely through TikTok. Like those YouTube golfers, now they've moved on to TikTok because they know there's like there's a large audience on YouTube, but you know, even younger and large audience on TikTok. So yeah, I get a lot of my content from that and from Instagram.
Kind of what Chris said about YouTube entertainment, same as like Eric Anders Lane, storytellers in golf. It's very entertaining, and it's a good break, and it kind of reinforces your love for the game in a lot of ways because it's like a show, and you're kind of just like, wow, like it makes me want to go back out there. So definitely content like that is motivating and kind of reconnects you what got you into it in the first place. Because you could go shoot 90 one day and just be so mad at yourself, and then you can go throw one of those videos like a day later at home. You're like, I'll go to the range tomorrow. I'll go hit some balls and kind of go find the love of it again. So that's my favorite content.
Yeah, which is why I love Allison's Instagram because she talked about she shows the good and the bad. There's not always good in golf. Everybody knows that. We all hit bad shots. It happens, but you know, I think it's walking away and realizing, all right, I'm gonna go out there tomorrow, you know, try again, see what else I can do. I think that's what makes golf special. All right, that's what makes golf pretty special. Any other questions in the back? Yeah.
I think we've heard a few times, you know, golf was not cool. So why is golf cool to you and your peers right now?
Who wants to take it away first? Isabella, go for it.
Definitely social media. I think a lot of like my friends, like a few years ago, I told them I would play golf, and they're like, "What's so hard about hitting a ball with a stick?" You know, they didn't take it seriously. But then I think in the last year, I've seen a lot of that change. I've seen a lot of like because I go to an all-girls school, I see a lot of like my friends getting inspired by that passion. They're like, "Oh, I want to play golf. I want to wear the cute skirts and the cute, you know, lemon tops." I see a lot of that there, just like the fashion part of it, and yeah, like TikTok is like 30 seconds to a minute, you know, of a video, and I think my generation has a short attention span, so it's just like easier for us to like watch that content and then be like, oh, that looks cool, I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, also, I feel like a lot of it, at least for people that I know, has to do with the clothing. Like a lot of my friends are baseball, basketball, the arm sleeves, the necklaces, and everything like that. And they at school, they're like, dude, why are you wearing collared shirts? It's for like these old guys over here playing golf, right? Like, hey, and then they're like, yeah, like who was it? Isabella said, like it's not that difficult to just hit the ball with the stick, right? Like, okay. So I took one of my friends out. He plays baseball. He's really good at it. And he just tried golf, just on the driving range. And he was like glued to it. And he was just whacking the ball with the driver as hard as he can. Even if it's stuff like that, not taking it seriously, but it's still entertaining. And then we took him on the course. He's like, can we go again? Can we go again? And it's really cool to see how people that even didn't take it seriously and didn't think it was fun at all. And like also companies like Malbon Golf and Track Golf who made golf more like a interesting clothing style and not just a casual collared shirt and pants. And that's what's really evolved into.
Yeah, I think kind of what you touched on, it's pretty addicting, I would say. Golf, you know, when you go, you play poorly, you want to go back, do better the next day. I would say at least, you probably agree, I think when we were younger, it wasn't that cool. But now I think COVID helped a lot. I think, like I said earlier, you know, you couldn't really do anything else, and golf was one of the things that you didn't have to be around anybody else, and you could go play by yourself and learn how to do that. But I think now, I think it's a challenge for people, and I think people see golf and they say, yeah, oh, how hard is it to hit a ball right? And then they go out there and do it, and then they whiff it 3 times, and you're like, wow, try again, right? And they want to keep going out there and getting better. So I think that's kind of, from my perspective, how it's changed a little bit. You wanna?
When they were talking about it, it made me think of how a lot of like famous athletes right now. You go look at basketball players, or Steph Curry, even you look at Anthony Davis. All these guys, Draymond Green is even golfing, Klay Thompson's golfing, right? So you get football players, old retired baseball players are into golf. So you're seeing these super athletes that you kind of grew up loving, and it's like, wow, that was my dream to play that sport. But hey, look, they're playing golf, and they're good at it. So like, I want to be good at it, and it's kind of that entertainment and like pursuing still like a sport outside of just what they kind of retired at and what maybe you didn't fulfill, like you didn't pursue baseball and you went into golf, but you're like, hey, cool people still do it. So yeah, I'd say that is kind of the answer to the cool question.
Do we have any other questions? All right. Thank you all for being here. I am honored that I got to kind of facilitate this panel. And like I said, I think it was a really cool. We're gonna be done. I think it was a really cool opportunity and a unique experience that you guys got to hear from young people, and I hope you can take something away from at least this session. I know you'll learn a lot more this conference, and I hope you all enjoy the next couple of days. But